The USL Championship playoff race is heating up, and nowhere is it hotter than where we are tonight in St. Louis, as St. Louis FC plays host to Louisville City FC right here at West Community Stadium. Alongside Gary Bailey, my name is Neil Rule. Happy to have you with us wherever you may be watching around. And Gary, as we look at the USL Championship table, I mean, realistically speaking, it couldn't get any tighter.
Yeah, it's especially important for St. Louis because have a look at 42 points. Birmingham Legion in 10th take on 11th Charleston Battery right behind them, both on 39. One of those two teams, if not both, will pick up points tonight. If St. Louis lose, they are on the very, very edge of going out of that top 10. For Louisville City, it's more about avoiding 7th and staying out of those first-round playoff matches.
A vital 3 points for the home side. St. Louis FC up for grabs here tonight. Now, let's take a look at our defensive keys to the match, presented by Fortinet.
Well, for St. Louis, keep it tight. They've only conceded 2 in the last 6. They've been doing a great job so far. And then watch Rasmussen, this man, 10 in 28. He's a scoring machine. If you stop him scoring, you've got a great chance. From a Louisville point of view, keep alert at set pieces. Sam Fink's weighed in with a few at set pieces, and focus on Tyler Blackwood. We saw him there a moment ago. 5 in 9 already. He is in great form.
That brings us to our player to watch, and he is Kyle Gregg. And tonight's player to watch is brought to you by Electrical Connection. And that's a fitting sponsor, Gary, because Kyle Gregg has a connection with the back of the net.
He certainly does. There's 2 goals we're going to show you here from the match against Hartford Athletic earlier in the season. He can score any which way. He can score by shooting outside the box. He can be the fox in the box as well, like he is there, and he's a great header of the ball. 7 goals so far this season.
St. Louis FC sitting in a good spot. They would like to stay there. Louisville City FC wants to make their way up as well. Who will do it? We'll find out next.
This year we developed Ale d'Or, which is a beer brewed exclusively for the St. Louis Football Club. We've been partners with STLC for coming up on 3 years now. St. Louis Football Club got some Schlafly, call out our Luligan friends on the side. You'll be able to find Ale d'Or obviously out at Soccer Park and then at your local grocery in and around St. Louis, so we're really excited to get it out there in the market. We're excited to debut it in 16-ounce cans for the upcoming season.
When you need quality electrical work for your home or business, look to the electricalconnection.org. Created as a partnership between IBEW Local 1 electricians and the St. Louis chapter of the National Electrical Contractors Association, the Electrical Connection has been setting the standard for electrical excellence in St. Louis for over 100 years. You can depend on our highly skilled and trained workforce, your #1 source for quality electrical and communication contractors, electricalconnection.org. When you need quality electrical work for your home or business, look to the electricalconnection.org. Created as a partnership between IBEW Local 1 electricians and the St. Louis chapter of the National Electrical Contractors Association, the Electrical Connection has been setting the standard for electrical excellence in St. Louis for over 100 years. You can depend on our highly skilled and trained workforce, your #1 source for quality electrical and communication contractors, electricalconnection.org.
Welcome back to West Community Stadium. Tonight's match brought to you by the Cheshire Inn and LHM Hotel. Getting ready to go, St. Louis FC and Louisville City FC. As we talked about in the open, big points on the line here this evening for these two sides, as we will take a look at the starting lineups brought to you tonight by Schlafly. And as we check out the St. Louis FC starting 11, Gary Bailey, Lewis Hilton figures to be a factor. He can do it for you on a set piece.
Oh, he certainly can. He's got a great strike from a set piece. He's going to run that midfield Interestingly enough, no changes to the team that drew 1-1 at home to Atlanta 2. So obviously Anthony Pulis happy with his side. He's got Cicerone wide, Dacres on the right-hand side, and Blackwood and Gregg make up a fantastic strike force with, as you mentioned, Lewis Hilton just behind alongside Umar.
And for Louisville City FC coming in with 51 points on the season, sitting alive in 7th place. The name that jumps off the paper at me, Gary, Akil Watt certainly has an interesting resume.
Yeah, he comes in for Pat McMahon at right back, and Akil Watt, as you said, interesting. He had 2 games for Portland Timbers, then he went to Spain, had 1 game for Mallorca, and now he's had a couple of games here for Louisville City. So he's moved around very quickly between clubs, and he's moved into right back position very quickly in place of Pat McMahon. And I'm just interested and excited to see what he can do here this evening.
Yep, the youngster will be on full display for Louisville City FC. Of course, the 2-time defending USL champions. Their head coach, John Hackworth, in his 2nd season. Anthony Pulis in his 2nd year as well for St. Louis FC. St. Louis FC will get things started. And remember, Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world since 1947. Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. So just about ready to rock here on a Saturday night. Good crowd on hand as usual in St. Louis as we await the whistle from Guido Gonzalez Jr., the head referee. He will be the man in charge as he surveys the scene. And we get ready to go. The whistle sounds, and we are underway from West Community Stadium. St. Louis FC hosting Louisville City FC. Alongside Gary Bailey, my name is Neil Rule. Happy you are with us. As we get things rolling, St. Louis FC on the attack right away. It's Tyler Blackwood in the mix in that right corner. And very early on, we will have a corner kick brought to you by Electro Savings.
St. Louis on the attack, as they do so well at home. And they are good on set pieces. You mentioned Lewis Hilton in the build-up. We get a chance to possibly see him or Kadeem Dacres whisper this ball in with a bit of bend, and that can cause all sorts of problems.
Lewis Hilton, a 2-time JUCO All-American at Harris Young College in Georgia. Sends the corner in. That was headed away. Brian Ownby in the neighborhood. And certainly, Gary, that Louisville City back line is a tough nut to crack.
And they're in great form at the moment. No losses in 9, Louisville City. Got to give manager John Hackworth a huge amount of credit because they were going through a bad spell. Yes, champions last season and the season before, but they were really struggling to get in that top 10, and he's turned it all around with a fantastic run in recent months. And now it's up to Anthony Pulis to try and do the same with his team, who have been in good form. 5 wins and 7 at home. But after their wonders in the Cup, they lost it a bit mid-season, and now he's having to work really hard to get that great St. Louis form back.
And this has been a prescription. We've seen St. Louis FC use this in the past, as recent as last season. They went on a hot streak in the month of September that carried them into the playoffs. And Lou City, as far as they're concerned, you certainly do get the feeling, Gary, as 2-time champions, you see them keeping their eyes on the prize. They know where they have to be. They know where they have to go, and they're starting to put the wheels in motion for that.
Oh, they are. No question about it. They're a fantastic team. They've got a lot of experience. They've been together 4 or 5 years, and in fact, Anthony Pulis picked that out about his opposition. He said because they have been together a long time, they understand each other well. They're reaching their peak at the right point, coming into the playoffs, but they do want to avoid that 7th spot where, according to the live table, that's where they sit at the moment. North Carolina having just jumped above them, assuming their result against New York Red Bulls holds, because then if they finish 7th, they're into that first round of playoffs. Extra tired legs, midweek game. I don't think John Hackworth wants that for Louisville City.
Here comes Lou City for the first time on the attack here tonight. The cross sent in will go all the way through the box. Very dangerous opportunity. Both sides having a moment. Not even 3 minutes into this match.
And it was a good cross, wasn't it? Right into the heart of the 6-yard box. Body sliding in. No one could make contact. But a very good move from the visiting side. And once again, just shows you what good form Lou City are in.
Chris Hubbard, the starting keeper for Lou City here tonight, was a starting keeper at Notre Dame for 3 years. Made his pro debut back on June 16th against Red Bulls 2. 16 matches played, 4 clean sheets, 17 goals against, 55 saves. And there is the youngster Akil Watts. And that really, as we talked about in the open, Gary, his resume jumped off the paper at you. You're excited to see him play tonight.
Yes, I am, and I'm very curious about the way he's sort of moved around. Portland Timbers took a little spell in Spain, got a match for Mallorca and back again. Let's see what he's picked up. Let's see what he's learned in Spain.
Omby played it to the left side. Louisville looking to go to work again. That ball sent in towards the 18. Rasmussen comes over in an attempt to make a play. Magnus Rasmussen was a guy that John Hackworth talked a lot about in our midweek press conference that we had with him. They're looking to him to get things rolling.
I think he said he's crucial for the team. When he plays well, the team play, and he has scored a whole ton of goals, 10 in 28, which shows you how important he is to Lou City.
Oscar Jimenez with the throw-in. As we get things rolling again, there's Devin Williams, also known as Speedy. He's won the last 3 USL championships, one with Red Bulls 2, and of course the 2 with Lou City. It's funny, when Devin Williams on your roster, you just happen to end up with hardware at the end of the season. It's weird.
Well, they'll be hoping to do it again, and looking at their form, you wouldn't want them back against Lou City, but St. Louis might have something to say about that. If it wasn't for their cup run early in the season, I don't think they'd be in this position. They were phenomenal all the way through to playing Atlanta United in the quarterfinals. It was a great run. I think knocked out Chicago Fire, knocked out another MLS team. And I think it took so much out of them that for the next couple of months, their USL Championship form struggled. If they hadn't have had that, who knows what might have happened.
That ball works its way through. Pass ahead, played back towards a penalty spot. It's taken away by Oscar Umar. Luckily for St. Louis FC. Umar played his college soccer at Villanova. Started 21 matches last year for Richmond. Sam Fink will wing it back towards the left side. We're into the 6th minute, just underway. Neil Rule, Gary Bailey with you. Happy to have you along for the ride. Lou City, as that ball plays off the official, Guido Gonzalez Jr. Officials never like when that happens.
It's good to see St. Louis on the ball. They've struggled to, as a home side, they've struggled to get going, which is obviously credit to Lou City. They've been at them from the get-go. And Carl Gregg gets an opportunity and takes it into the half and then loses possession.
Kyle Gregg, our player to watch here this evening. You brought up the fact in the open, 7 goals this year. Of course, he had 13 last year for St. Louis FC. That was the 2nd most in team history for a 1-season total.
He's one of those players, if you give him good service in the box especially, he's a very good header of the ball. That's what they'll be trying to do, St. Louis, but they do tend to focus on defense first and make sure they're tight. They give away very few goals, St. Louis, and they'll sit back if necessary, but eventually they will start to get service right up there to Carl Gregg. And of course to Tyler Blackwood, their more recent signing, who he scored 5 and 9. He really is in form.
Tomas Gomez booms it down the pitch. Former 3rd-round pick of the Columbus Crew in the MLS draft. Omby looking to make a move. Omby with it at his feet, taken down to the turf, and the whistle sounds. Strong moves from Brian Omby.
He's doing well, Brian Omby, because Luke Spencer was playing in that sort of role up front, but he's got more skill. Luke Spencer bigger, stronger, but Brian Omby some lovely touches, and he's playing that sort of that main role up front really well these days, with Niall McCabe and Antoine Hopeno just behind him and giving him service.
Free kick set up now for Lou City. Oscar Jimenez in the neighborhood, as is Niall McCabe, who will take it. Jimenez walks up to it, curls it towards the box. It's flicked on towards the line, throw-in coming up for Louisville City FC.
Good ball in, and I think it was a white shirt who got their head to it, so they could have got something from this. Again, a very good start from the visitors.
Akil Watts sends it in towards the 18. Lou City once again. Keeping a hold of it, Antoine Openo. He loses control of it. There was a good look at Openo. 26 goals, 69 matches played at Princeton in college, which tells me one thing, Gary Bailey, he's much smarter than I am.
You're saying you've never been to college?
No, I've done the college, not the Princeton part of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
I just keep that as a general rule, you know, the Ivy League guys.
Yeah.
Chances are pretty strong they're smarter than I am.
Well, if you can do both, if you can play pro soccer and go to university, that's wonderful, because your pro soccer career has to end normally around about 30-ish, so you need to be doing something afterwards. And as you say, a Princeton University degree will help you somewhat in that regard.
Absolutely. Greg the target one more time. And early on, we've seen that from St. Louis FC. A couple of hopeful balls up to Kyle Gregg, none of them resulting in much as of yet, but that is really a branch you will go to repeatedly throughout the evening.
And as well as Lou City have played at the early part of the match, the big concern for Coach John Hackworth is that St. Louis are desperate to get into that top 10 or to stay in the top 10, and they're going to have an intensity tonight which Lou City have to match. He says if they don't match it, then they could be in trouble against St. Louis, because they're a very good side, according to Hackworth, and they're a side that really do need the 3 points tonight.
Hubbard plays it towards the right side. Sean Tosh, 44 matches played for the Rochester Rhinos in 2015 and 16. Veteran of the arena game as well. 21 goals for the Milwaukee Wave from 2015 to 2017. And we'll try the right side. Akil Watts again. Ball chipped over top of everyone. That will trickle in towards Tomas Gomez.
He's looking for Rasmussen. As mentioned, he's the key. And that's his job down that right-hand side. Akil was to try and play Rasmussen in. And it nearly came off that time.
At the feet, boy, Hubbard had some difficulties with it for a second.
He knocks it long that time. I think the previous time he thought he was lucky to get away with it. He just booted it down the pitch rather than take any risks.
And Demfeo played that ball up ahead. Lou City will have a throw. It was a very quick start to the match. Both sides had a quality opportunity within the first 3 minutes. Last few moments, been a bit of volleyball back and forth over the midfield stripe. Lou City will steady things. Good reversal towards the left side, some open real estate. Overlapping run made. Touched off to the left side, that cross sent in. Tomas Gomez will go to the turf to scoop it up.
Yeah, he's been doing really well. Tomas Gomez was actually out at the start of the season. Jake Finlayson got in and got 16 appearances. Was playing really well, but Thomas came in during the cup games and had some wonderful performance, and he slowly worked his way back in as #1 for St. Louis. And here's that ball coming in again, and the goalkeeper just keeping his eyes on it. Antoine Openo was at the near post, and he was waiting to see if he can get a touch. When he couldn't, the keeper then pounced.
Openo was right on the doorstep. Ball sent in again. He's knocked down towards the top of the D. Making a move, faking the shot, now firing and scoring with the left foot. Magnus Rasmussen, and Louisville City gets the jump. They have a 1-0 lead.
That's a great strike from Rasmussen, and we spoke about him earlier, saying what a good player he was and is. 10 goals in 28, and he turns on the edge of the box. Too much time given to him to get that strike. He plays it off, gets it back, gets time to tee it up. They just stood off him, St. Louis. They allowed him the opportunity to just tee it up there. And doesn't he finish that well? In the corner, past Tomas Gomez. He's got no chance to get there. And already, Lou City are 1 up.
Tomas Gomez unable to get to that lower corner. And exactly as you said, John Hackworth, the head coach of Louisville City, said we will go as Rasmussen goes. Well, he likes the way that's going so far. They have the 1-0 lead. How will St. Louis FC respond at home? They came in 3 points clear. Birmingham Legion FC. They would like things to stay that way.
Well, it's not going to stay that way, you would think, if they don't get a result here tonight, because Birmingham play Charleston Battery. 10 plays 11, both on 39 points. One, if not both, will pick up points tonight, and if St. Louis don't, it brings those two even closer to them as they head off into the final 3 matches of the season. And next up for St. Louis is Loudoun away, and they just beat Tampa 2-0, so that might not be so easy. And after that's Pittsburgh, who are top, and then North Carolina away, who have just moved into 6th spot, or busy moving into 6th spot. So there's no guarantee of getting a whole bunch of points there for St. Louis, which is why tonight's match is so critical for the home side.
And certainly not the start they were looking for. Keel Watts on that right side. And Gary, I'll tell you what, Louisville City FC finding some joy out on the wings. There's open real estate to work with.
You would think they were the home side. The way they've started this match, they've been absolutely fantastic. And they are in a great run of form. No losses in the last 9. It's been really impressive the way they've turned their season around. And I guess they are champions. So you have to say, well, the majority of the team are still together. They know what to do. And as you said earlier, they've just sort of peaking themselves at the right time. And that's
rounding into shape.
Yeah, that's the clever way to do it if you can.
Louisville City FC was 74% of the possession 15 minutes into this match.
The thing about St. Louis, though, they're very resolute, they're tough, they're hard to break down. They will keep going right to the very, very end here. So I certainly wouldn't write St. Louis off at this stage.
Ownby on the move. He sends a cross in. That's played away. There's Rasmussen again, trying to fight through the defender Hilton. The whistle sounds. The foul goes against Louisville City. Punch in the gut to St. Louis FC at home. Magnus Rasmussen gets things going. And Gary, it's impressive because a lot of times when you're the road side, you come out, you score an early goal, you'll see a moment of letdown or two. Louisville City has come back just as hard after scoring the goal.
This is what's so tough for St. Louis, is they're up against Louis City when they're in the best form they've been in all season. And at a time when St. Louis desperately need the 3 points to try and ensure that top 10 spot. But it's all about how they respond. They were disappointed last home match when they drew against Atlanta 2. And to be fair, Atlanta 2 played some very good soccer. They had more chances and didn't take them. I wonder what's going to happen here tonight.
Russell Cicerone into the box. He has it taken away. 2 defenders collapsed on him. Cicerone played his soccer in the PDL with the Michigan Bucks when they won a national championship. Very talented side. Means a lot. PDL, now USL League 2 national championships. They won it again this year, as a matter of fact, in Flint City. Really was an impressive scene there in Flint. Over 7,000 people in the stands.
Wow.
In downtown Flint. They have churned out talent. Here comes St. Louis FC. Ball sent through the middle. Now it's Lewis Hilton dropping it off. Dakers. Umar sends it wide to the right. Making the move, Cicerone. He's inside the 18. His cross played away. And we will have a corner kick coming. Corner kick will be brought to you by Electro Savings.
Well, that's better from the home side. That's more like St. Louis when they start getting at you and getting in the box. Russell Cicerone is such a clever player with his feet. He tries to thread one through across the box and it gets blocked for a corner. This is when St. Louis start to get into their own. They start attacking you and putting you under all sorts of pressure.
Lewis Hilton serves it up. Inside the 18, loose for a moment. New City now taking an opportunity to mount the counter, and there is space to work with. That ball sent across by Ownby. The needle nearly threaded to Opino. And again, even off a corner, Lou City very dangerous on the counter.
Weren't they? Brian Ownby so quick to get that going. Opino nearly gets in. Gomez comes out. I think it was Kavita eventually decided to take no risks. They're, as you say, very quick to counter, got bodies forward, and you can see why they've been champions last 2 seasons. Now they've got their form back. What a good team they look.
Lewis Hilton figure will be a factor as the night goes on those free kick and corner kick situations. Did serve a good ball into the box for St. Louis FC. Louisville turned the tables at the snap of a finger. So drops it back, now on the right side. Tosh. St. Louis FC again keeping somewhat of a high line, but that space, Gary, available on the wings once more. Akil Watts there.
They're very deep, St. Louis, aren't they? All in their own half, just trying to deny space around the box.
Omby makes his move through. Omby taken down from behind. Official says play on.
It doesn't matter if you're St. Louis and you play a defensive game and you counter-attack or you don't have much possession. Right now, at this stage of the season, it's about points. And I think St. Louis, as long as they get their 3 points, they won't care what anyone thinks about their style. This isn't about playing pretty soccer. This is about ensuring that you finish in those playoff positions.
Fans, the final playoff spots are at stake October 9th when Wednesday Night Soccer returns to ESPN News. Tune in as the Birmingham Legion FC fights for the last spot in the East, while upset-minded Hartford Athletic looks to crush some dreams in front of their home faithful. Catch all the drama as it unfolds Wednesday, October 9th. Right, only available on ESPN News. Umar sends it out to the right side and gets it back. St. Louis FC finally with some good build-up, trying to throw it in quickly and get things rolling. Matt Boehner moves over. Here we talked about the Michigan Bucks. Matt Boehner played there in 2012. Some good lineage out on the pitch right now. Pinot sends it back. Blue City looking to move. And this time the whistle sounds and the foul is called. Evan Williams down on the turf.
Yeah, nice interplay there amongst Blue City. You get to see it again. No question, there's a little bit of a follow through. Nothing nasty there from Oscar Umar. But you will get blown up for that. But interesting that Blue City were so comfortable in their last match against Tampa Bay Rowdies, 2-0 up. And Tampa Bay were down to 10 men with only a couple of minutes left and came back and scored one, a penalty, silly penalty given away, and then a fantastic goal scored by a former player there, Mkhosana. And so it ended up dropping points and having a former player score against you, and it really burnt John Hackworth and the players. They weren't happy about it, and they really have come back in these first few minutes and shown a resolute, positive approach.
That ball sent out wide to the right side. Cross inside the 18. Dropped off and now played away. There is Kadeem Dakers. Hopeful ball sent up. Coming off the line to make the play will be Chris Hubbard. 22nd minute, 1-0, Louisville City FC with the lead. Magnus Rasmussen with the goal. And that is where we stand.
What's interesting for John Hackworth, when he chatted to us during the week, he said what he's looking for his team to do is improve and keep on improving, which is good to hear, because you would think the way they've been playing recently that a lot of coaches would say, hey, we're in great form, we're timing it perfectly for the playoffs, we're all good. He's saying, no. I want to see an improvement every single week. We can get better and better. And this is the time to do it. So very positive approach from the Lou City manager.
The ball played out of the zone. And it was funny, too, because John Hackworth on that call, he said, despite where we are in the standings, we believe we are a good team. Yes, John, the two-time defending champions. Yes, you are a good team. Everybody knows that you are a good team.
Yeah, I think he's concerned that people might think they've lost their touch. Well, in the last 9 games, you can see very clearly they haven't. They're back to where they were, and we've seen that already in the first 22 minutes, how good this team are. Are they as good as they have been the previous 2 seasons? Only time will tell. But certainly they're giving St. Louis a hard time here, and St. Louis are a very, very good team, especially at home. So credit again to Lou City.
The St. Louligans, not much to cheer about here in the first 23 minutes plus.
Yeah, but they'll keep cheering.
Well, absolutely they will. They have no off button. There's no
Yeah,
question about it.
They're wonderful, the St. Louligans. They really make this such a fortress with their singing and their support, no matter what the score is.
There's Russell Cicerone, run on the left side. There's a look at the St. Louligans. Some of the best in the business stepping through. Cademfeo.
Should have hit target. He's giving himself a little hit in the side of the head, because you've got to hit target there, or you've got to find someone in the box. He did neither. And Carl Gregg was there at the near post. I'm thinking, why not shoot where Carl Gregg is? Either it's going to be on target or it's going to be a pass to Carl Gregg. In the end, you knock it inside the post and don't even bother the goalkeeper. So that's probably why Bradley Camden-Feo was just giving himself a little tap on the side of the face.
You miss 100% of the shots that aren't on frame, right, Gary?
Exactly, and that's as a former goalkeeper. I'm only too happy if you miss the target, because if you hit the target, I've still got to make the save, get my body behind it, judge the bounce, do whatever. If you miss totally, I can just wave at it and act like it was never a bother in the first place.
Bradley Camden-Feo, a seasoned professional, close to 100 matches played in USL Championship. Spent some time with Rochester and Fresno as well. He knows as well as anyone those opportunities don't present themselves all the time. Here's a ball sent in to the box. Ownby has that one pop up in the air where the keeper will make the grab. Tonight's match brought to you in part by Maryville University. Score the winning goal at Maryville with a personalized education, nationally ranked academics, and Division II athletics. You can learn more at maryville.edu.
Louisville City with a fairly high press. Look at the number of white shirts in the half. They're forcing Thomas Gomez to go long, and then they just pick up the pieces and rebuild their attack.
And that was another thing that John Hackworth talked about during our midweek press conference. He said they made some tweaks to the way they press. It was about pressing with a purpose. And Gary, it's certainly paying dividends. You saw them earlier in the season, much different than they are here tonight.
Yeah, because you can't press all the time. It'll be just too tiring. So you have to pick the moments when you think the opposition are vulnerable, and then either try and nick the ball off their feet and have a shot at goals, or force the goalkeeper to go long, which is what they did there. And obviously, according to John Hackworth, they're choosing their times a lot better than they were early in the season.
Flag up on the far side. Guido Gonzalez Jr. Is there a foul called before the flag went up? That could be the scenario.
In the middle of the pitch, you'll see numbers 3 and 4 on the way up. Fanuel Kavita and Sam Fink. So you can be pretty sure that probably Lewis Hilton, maybe Bradley Camden-Feo, but probably Lewis Hilton will just bend this into the 2 big guys and see if they can't get a header on target.
Lewis Hilton sizing things up. And ball slotted towards the left side. A little too much mustard on the hot dog, though, just out of the reach of Russell Cicerone.
They did exactly the opposite of what I said they were going to do, and maybe they should have gone for the cross. I think they were trying to trick everyone, and it nearly came off. But when you've got 2 big center halves that have gone up all that way, Sam Fink and Fanuel Kavita, I reckon you try and put the ball on their head. They're such strong guys and big players.
Now St. Louis FC with a bit of high pressure of their own. Lou City, though, very composed in dealing with it. Ownby had it, lost it. Dakers touches it out towards the right side, gets it back. Dakers still with it. Moves through a defender. Cicerone the target. Cicerone was moving in the opposite direction.
I think he thought that Dakers was struggling there. They had bodies all around him. He's come to help him. And at that very moment, Dakers wins the ball and tries to put Cicerone through. John Hackworth just giving some instructions there as to what he wants his team to do. He's got to be very happy with the first nearly half an hour. They got the goal. They've played really good attacking football. And they've looked very, very comfortable.
Dominating the possession with over 70% of it. Turning with it. And then Vale. Did well to keep it. And now here's Umar. Nice long ball on the side. That shot trickles in on frame. Chris Hubbard handles it with little challenge.
Tyler Blackwood with a shot there from out wide. Great first touch, brings it down brilliantly. And doesn't quite catch the strike that well, but he scored 5 in 9. You can see how good his first touch was there. And no doubt very soon he'll get his shooting boots on as well.
He had the goal in the 1-1 draw against Atlanta United 2 last time out. Tyler Blackwood scored 8 goals for Swope Park Rangers last year. Spent some time in League 2 in England, in Newport County.
I think he started his career at Queen's Park Rangers, if I remember correctly. And that's a very decent club to start off with in London.
We're into the 30th minute. West Community Stadium. Neil Rule, Gary Bailey with you. Happy to have you along. New City had the early jump. They are playing well here this evening. Openo. That shot with the left foot by Rasmussen is blocked this time. That ball sent over the line. Throw in coming up.
This is such an important game for St. Louis. They're going to have to find extra energy as this match goes on. The space that Louisville City play in, they're comfortable. They're under not too much pressure, and that's got to change at some stage for St. Louis. Obviously, they're giving the champions a lot of respect, and this is where they need to do. Turn the ball over.
Here's Cicerone making his move, hesitating. He's dispossessed. Ball chipped ahead. Ownby the target. Ownby making a strong run. Being held off by Fanuel Kavita. Boy, I'll tell you what, Brian Ownby was making things uncomfortable for everyone. Here's Lou City again. Openo chips it up towards the 18. Devin Williams the target. Instead, a corner coming up. Zumar played that one away. Devin Williams joined Jamaica for this year's Gold Cup.
Just saw Umar there breathing very, very heavily. Openo turns quickly here. Nice little ball through. It's a little bit too far for Speedy Williams. You get the sense that it's a slightly sluggish St. Louis there. Just looking at Umar really breathing heavily.
Oscar Jimenez sends the corner in. Chipped up towards the left side, headed off the crossbar. Lou City dangerous off the corner. Sean Tosh made a bid for a 2-0 lead.
It's a good header. I don't think it was Sean Tosh. Was it
No,
Paco Craig? Yeah, it's a good head. He's unlucky. He's knocked it back. In fact, if he'd have knocked it even further back, Ownby was just waiting at the far post. Once again, Lou City looking really good, and St. Louis battling to deal with these attacking forays of the champions.
One foul will go against Lou City. Craig Dangerous. He's been an all-USL first-team performer the last 2 seasons. He had a goal against Tampa Bay. Also 11 yellow cards on the year. So he'll mix it up. He can score and he can mix it up.
I've got a funny feeling towards the end of this match it's going to start to get a bit chippy because St. Louis have so much at stake here. If Lou City keep outplaying them, and the next option is to resort to a little bit of physical and see if Lou City are up for that. That's what you do if you need the points and You're just getting no joy against a team that's on form. You give them a shove and a push and see if they fancy the physical side of it. Sometimes they don't, and that way you get yourself back into the match.
Gary, too, moving towards the 34th minute. The pressure continues to mount. The screws continue to tighten. Emotions run high, no question. Openo. Bodies flying everywhere. Openo has it again. Looks to make his move. Stopped the first time. Still has it. Could not make his turn.
Openo, tricky little player. Small in stature, but clever feet. And he just couldn't quite get that ball in there from out wide. He was the player traded for Lucky Nkosana, the man who scored the equalizer last game out against Tampa Bay Rowdies. And Anton Openo coming in the other direction to join Lou City.
Fans, you can continue to enjoy USL on ESPN throughout the 2022 season. USL is excited to announce that the championship and League One will remain with the leader in sports for 3 more years. ESPN Plus will continue to be the home of all things USL, and at least 19 games a year will be featured on the ESPN family of networks, including 9 matches on ESPN Deportes. Continue to follow, support, and watch your club on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Here come Lou City one more time. Ownby again, he has been strong. Sends a pass right to the pen spot. Shot is whiffed on.
Yeah, I think Openo would like that back again. Didn't make any contact at all. I think they were calling for the ball going over the line, and even some of the defenders stopped sort of running. Maybe that put Openo off for a second, but didn't make any contact with that cross.
Ball sent ahead, but one more time, just a little too much pace on it. Kyle Gregg the target. Gary, it's been a lonely island up top for Kyle Gregg. 2 defenders on him pretty much most of the evening so far. Yeah, he continues to be frustrated.
No, you're right, because Tyler Blackwood's out on the right-hand side, and they have played together as dual strikers, but not at the moment. I think Tyler Blackwood's being forced to do lots of defending.
Overlapping run by Watts instead. Sent to the middle. Be with it. Now, Lou City along that right side again. Speedy Williams with the touch. Akil Watts tries to make his way through. Omar will send it back to the keeper.
Just coming straight back every time, isn't it? Goes up, the white shirts get it, they come back at St. Louis, and they're back defending again. So worrying, it must be of a worry to Anthony Pulis, but like we were saying earlier, he won't mind if they can get the 3 points. They've just got to defend, not let Lou City score again, and then try and get themselves back in the match. Tough, but that's what they've got to do at the moment.
Line to the right side. Once again, Openo. He chips it over the top of Rasmussen. But it's been a broken record, Gary. Right side attack, all kinds of space. Ball sent into the 18.
Yeah, Openo not happy there, hands on hips, thinking, surely I could have put a better cross in. But you're right, he has caused a lot of problems on that right-hand side, and St. Louis just can't get themselves in a situation to attack. They're coming back. Their strikers are coming back defending, as you say. Only Kyle Gregg staying up. Tyler Blackwood's defending down the right-hand side. Russell Cicerone down the left. And the ball goes up, comes straight back, time and time again. But as long as they keep it at 1-0, St. Louis, they'll feel they're in this match, and that maybe with a crowd behind them, they can do better in the second half.
Lou City once again on the right side. Here's Akil Watts. Service into the 18. That's headed away, but it does make its way towards the left side of the box. Making a run. Not so. Akil Watts one more time. Back to the middle. Speedy Williams. Will send it through. Openo. Send it into the 18. Comes loose to Watts. Stepping up, long shot sent in. Tomas Gomez had it covered. As that went to the left side of the post.
It was quite a bit wide, wasn't it? Wasn't going to cause the keeper too many problems. Let's have a look at it again. Yeah, it's a good 2 or 3 yards wide. But if you didn't know who was at home and you were watching this, you would think it was a Lou City home game, because they have been dominating possession, dominating space and territory. They've got the goal. They have looked fantastic. And St. Louis is struggling at home to really get their act together and get their game going.
And Gary, maybe that possession too was the downside of having so much possession, because impatience starts to set in after a while. So Speedy Williams gives one a lash from so far out. Maybe a little bit of impatience growing from having the ball so much.
Yeah, maybe just trying his luck from out there. Right. But they certainly have the likes of Omby who can find space in there, and Hopeno's had a few moments. They will keep causing problems. Blackwood, for me, he needs to get more into the game. They've got him wide defending, but they've got 4 midfielders who try and push him up next to Kyle Gregg and get them some service, but that's easier said than done. They've been chasing this ball, St. Louis, and have barely had. There you go again. They get possession, then give it away.
It's chipped up ahead. Here's Omby again. Openo jumping up into the play. Ball served inside the box. Rasmussen, he's got a goal already. He sends it off. Pass sent in, headed wide by Speedy Williams. Boy, Speedy Williams will watch that on film, and he won't like what he sees. He's disappointed with his effort.
That's a great ball in, and a fantastic opportunity for Speedy Williams. He's at least got to make the goalkeeper work, and he's misjudged it completely. But Thomas Gomez, look, is having a go at everyone there, saying you've got to be quicker and sharper. Speedy Williams gets it on target. It would have been 2-0 and St. Louis in all sorts of trouble.
And Gary, of course, you're predisposed to side with the keeper in that situation, but you've been there before, right? Where Tomas Gomez is saying, hey guys, help me out here. We can't have guys on the doorstep like that.
No, and it's part of your job as a keeper is to organize your defense and make sure that they do the job they're meant to do. But you can't allow a player like Speedy Williams to run into your 6-yard box and have a free header. That's asking for trouble. Very lucky St. Louis that it's only 1-0. But they'll ride their luck. As far as they're concerned, it's all about the points. Once again, Lou City, got to give them credit for building a wonderful attack there. It was St. Louis who lost the possession as we were speaking. They built it down that left-hand side with Brian Omby, put a beautiful ball in, and nearly get the second. Fantastic play by Lou City.
Tomas Gomez standing over it. Now bangs it down the pitch. It's flicked on. But again, Kyle Gregg is a man alone up top. Ownby in the circle. Wings it out towards the left side. Niall McCabe moves his way through. His cross sent in. That was headed away. Rasmussen trying to collect it. Can St. Louis FC mount some kind of a counter? Lewis Hilton outlets it. Umar ahead. Quality ball towards the right side. Gregg the target. That's played away. But some signs of life from St. Louis FC.
Good ball in from Tyler Blackwood. Absolutely brilliant. That's how those two must combine. They need to work together. It's just difficult when you're out wide. Tyler Blackwood, but still puts the ball into a really good danger area. Only great defending there by Louisville City stops St. Louis and Kyle Gregg.
Not over for St. Louis FC yet, though, on the throw. Service inside the 18, over top of everyone. Who will win the foot race? Camden Feo gets the job done. Camden Feo will earn a corner for St. Louis FC. That will be another Electro Savings corner kick for St. Louis FC.
Kilwatt's just picking up there. Lewis Hilton ready to put the ball in. And he's got Kadim Dakers nice and close to him, which draws 2 white shirts out to mark them. That's 2 white shirts less in the box.
Corner service sent in. Ownby owns the 18 on that exchange, heads it away. Boehner comes over. He throws it in.
can hear the shout of Anthony Pulis saying, Oscar, get back. He's worried about the counter-attack. Too many green shirts have gone forward. Look at the white shirts pouring forward now.
Watts up ahead. Ombi catches up to it. The stop is made by Gomez, but moving through inside the 18. Nearly a quality chance for Masoso. But instead now St. Louis FC will take their turn. Cicerone on the move. As Dakers to his left. Cicerone loses control of it, and the foul called against Russell.
Wow, there's a bit of action from both ends of the pitch. Watts with a lovely ball through for Ombi. Keeper's a little bit slow to come off, but then eventually makes a really good save. Thomas Gomez there. Credit Akil Watts with the ball through. And there's the save from Thomas Gomez. Again, nearly a second for Lou City. What a good counter-attack that was. They do it so quickly, at such speed. And you could hear Anthony Pulis calling for Oscar Umar to get back because he could see a potential counter-attack. And they just managed to stop Lou City from scoring.
Comes St. Louis FC again. This time it's Greg inside the 18. He was trying to cross it over for Cicerone. Unable to do so. Headed up in the air inside the 18. Camden Feo chips it. Well, instead, it'll be McKay playing it out.
Good news for St. Louis fans. A little bit of life there in the last 5 minutes. They have to take some risks. Yes, they're going to be faced with counter-attacks from Lou City, but they've got to throw a little bit more forward. They're 1-0 down. They need these points desperately. Either Birmingham or Charleston right behind them, or both will pick up points this evening. So they're going to have to be braver in the second half, St. Louis.
Could that be a situation where Anthony Pulis is maybe biding his time a little bit? He knows what he can go to, and when the time's right, he'll make his move.
I think that's a fair comment. I think that's exactly what he's doing. He knows how good Lou City are, and he doesn't want to push forward too much, but at some point in the second half, he's going to have to go for it. Maybe until then, he'll keep things nice and tight.
There will be 1 minute of stoppage time. Stoppage time presented by Paycor. Need more time in your business? Contact Paycor to handle your payroll and human resources needs. Neil Rule, Gary Bailey with you. Seconds before halftime. Very impressive first half for Lou City. He drops it back. There's Akil Watts to his keeper, Chris Hubbard.
He looks a decent player, Akil Watts, only 19 years of age. And he's had some lovely touches here, some good little through balls. Very neat and tidy first half from the young man.
Left side play for Lou City. Jimenez to the middle. Speedy Williams, but the whistle sounds and 45 minutes are complete here at West Community Stadium. And the roadside Louisville City FC with the 1-0 lead. And certainly their head coach, John Hackworth, has to be happy with what he saw in that first half for the roadside. And special offers. So we will take our first halftime break, come back, get you caught up with everything that went on in the first half. Lou City FC with a 1-0 lead. We'll be right back with more. This is USL Championship Soccer.
The excitement that is sweeping the nation has arrived in St. Louis.
And a goal! It's Cicerone!
Fans are loving the authentic soccer experience. Tailgating, cheering, chanting, and much more. It's a party you won't want to miss.
Goal! St. Louis FC! And a goal!
Get your tickets at stlouisfc.com.
junior programs, basically there's two sides of it. There's a rec side and there's a select side, and basically it's for ages 2 to 12.
So you start off by doing a little bit of a warm-up.
It's a developmental, kind of want to introduce the players to the game and kind of all in a fun environment and create a positive experience.
Our staff is first class, our facilities first class, and it's really a first class program.
Tonight's halftime sponsored by Electrical Connection. 1-0 Louisville City FC with the lead on the road in a big pivotal playoff implication matchup between these two sides. A fierce competitor wants to win regardless of the situation, whether it's ping pong, video games, or even backgammon. Russell Cicerone is going to try to beat you. He's the subject of this week's edition of Behind the Shield.
Most people, I played a ton of sports, and then when it came to high school, I started narrowing it down, and I was good at two sports, soccer obviously, but I was also a really good hockey player.
Head up, draw the defenders, quick dish to Russell Cicerone, and the junior stuffs it between the pipes.
And I went to probably the top hockey school in the state of Michigan, Brother Rice High School, which we have the most state championships, probably I think the most wins in all of Michigan hockey, so it's a big hockey school. I had a really good couple of seasons with my Vardar Academy. I was getting good offers from a lot of universities, and people were telling me that I could go on to play professional soccer, so I ended up making the decision to go to the University of Buffalo to play soccer, and it was a great decision.
On to the right, Smith, into the box, headed past McCarthy, and there it is! Russell Cicerone has his first!
FC Cincinnati was moving up from the USL to the MLS, and people were competing for MLS spots on the team, and because we had so many talented guys, it was like almost like it was kind of a compliment, but then I still didn't make it.
Good fake, chance here, opening goal! Russell Cicerone.
Got a call from Anthony, and we talked a few times on FaceTime, and he had a lot of good stuff to say, and he liked the way I played, the style of play, and I liked what he had to say, and it just, right from the beginning, it seemed like a good fit for me.
He's got an edge to him, which again is something that I really like in a player. Really committed, really determined to want to do well, but he's a winner and he hates losing, and those are the type of people that I want to work with. And you can see it in his face when he doesn't win, or in training, in games, he hates it, and it kills him, and that's kind of the culture that we want here, and ultimately he's willing to do whatever it takes to try and be successful, and as I said, I think that will stand him in good stead as he progresses throughout his career.
Having that agility is, I think, that's a big part of my game. Getting players off balance, give myself a little bit of extra space. I think because at this high of a level, it's those inches that if you can give yourself a couple extra inches to find a pass, find a shot, that's the stuff that makes a difference. It was instilled into me at a young age. Both my parents, in the sports that they played, they were like that. They were always ambitious, always aggressive. Almost had a little bit of almost like a short temper, but in a good way. Like, they got angry quick. They're just fierce competitors. So it's just that competitive spirit. Whatever it is I'm doing, I'm playing a video game or ping pong, I want to win. So that's just something that happened in my household. We're a super competitive family. It's been a really big learning experience to how many good players are out there, how many people are competing for positions, for spots on teams, for rosters, even competing once you're on the roster for starting 11 in the 18. And it really is a grind for, I mean, if young players want to know what it's like coming up in the pro ranks like this, it's a grind. You really have to be mentally tough. You have to work at it every day. Even when you're in the off season, you have to be getting better. I mean, you can't take one day off.
Deflected in front. Kyle Gregg is there, still loose. Surely now, and it's in for St. Louis. Russell Cicerone.
I'm Russell Cicerone with St. Louis FC. I play on the wing, either side. And yeah, wide midfield winger.
1-0 Louisville City FC with the lead on the road. Halftime brought to you by Electrical Connection. We'll take a break, come back, get you more news and notes around the USL.
Long range effort. Oh, that's spectacular. From distance, and it's a goal. That's a great save, Van Oekel.
Hamilton back out wide. Chance to put this in the penalty area. Chance, a goal! Devin Sandoval brings them to their feet in Albuquerque. A minute to play. Dia puts it in. Definitely headed away. Shot comes in. It's 2-2. Oh, can you believe it? From 2-0 down, Phoenix are level.
Making the run, Mo Hernandez, edge of the box. Hernandez, great move, gets free. Hernandez gives SAFC the lead.
I told you the big man was feeling it tonight.
Low into the middle.
Oh, good shot.
Goes right, gets the shot away, score! Nowhere to go for Lorendi.
Back in the middle looking for Cox, trying to set up a shot, and it finds the corner. We're level at 2, and all of a sudden, game on here in Tucson. Puts this in the middle, looking for Ramos Bingo. It's off the hands of Hara and in. The opening goal for Toronto FC 2.
Moape lofts it. Boateng on the run. Boateng back in the net. Charles Boateng is first in league play.
To send it in. Headed away, couldn't get by the first man. Bermudez might come away with it, and he does! And there's nobody in goal! Greenville are going to score, and they're going to the playoffs! Greenville and Chris Bermudez!
Neil Rule, Gary Bailey back with you. 1-0 the roadside. Louisville City FC with the lead. Let's take a look at the news and notes going around USL Championship. And as we see some of the headlines that are coming out of everything going on this week for USL Championship. And Gary, you know, we spoke about it all week long, that battle in the East. Everybody seems like they're still alive.
Well, the battle in the East is good, and it certainly is, especially as we're seeing tonight with St. Louis and Charleston Battery and Birmingham Legion. It is the Wild West, because that is the most exciting league I have seen for a long time. Look at that, 8 points separating 4th and 14th. Almost everyone's got a chance of either getting in or getting out over the next couple of weeks. I think it's going to be the most exciting league to watch out of probably all the leagues in the world in the next 2 weeks. Absolutely brilliant. Couldn't have scripted it better.
Hartford Athletic, of course, will mix it up with Birmingham Legion. That's Wednesday Night Soccer, available at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN News. Now the table coming into this evening, and one thing's for sure, Gary, this thing's going to look a whole lot different when all the dust settles from tonight's action. St. Louis FC fans, though, really curious to keep an eye on what Birmingham Legion is doing.
I guess they're drawing, looking at that. Is that a live table? Birmingham Legion drawing at home to Charleston Battery. So currently only 2 points behind St. Louis, as will Charleston Battery be in 11 spots. So that's the problem for St. Louis. If that draw remains and they lose, Their two opponents are another point closer to them with 3 tough games to go for St. Louis. Wow, it becomes a real battle there for Louisville City. They're looking good, and a win would take them up alongside Tampa. Is that live? Is that 54 live? Okay, so taking them back into 6th spot above North Carolina, who won earlier. And that's where they want to be. They want to avoid 7, who plays 10 in the first round of playoffs. So for Lou City, it's all looking good. For St. Louis, not that good. Stressful times.
Yeah, let's take a look at the scoreboard around USL Championship as we get you caught up to date with everything that's going on. Of course, yesterday, Loudoun United FC with that win over the Tampa Bay Rowdies. But North Carolina FC, certainly that's a match that we will keep an eye on. They have a 2-0 lead over Red Bulls 2. And as you talked about, Birmingham and Charleston, they're 0-0 at the half.
Yeah, and Atlanta United got a late goal to draw against Pittsburgh, so well done to them. They drew against St. Louis away last match, and had the pleasure of doing that match, and they played very well, Atlanta too. And North Carolina, what a good result against New York Red Bulls 2, who, by the way, have gone on a little bit of a downer. They were fantastic for most of the season, Red Bulls, and I think the last 6 or 7 matches, they haven't got too many decent results. So they're just losing it at the wrong time of the season.
Yeah, boy, and speaking of impressive, Pittsburgh Riverhounds, it almost gets lost in the shuffle. They've lost 4 times in 32 matches.
Wow.
They've been a model of consistency. Wow. We'll come back, get you the second half of play. This is USL Championship Soccer.
The excitement that is sweeping the nation has arrived in St. Louis.
A goal! It's Cicerone!
Fans are loving the authentic soccer experience. Tailgating, cheering, chanting, and much more. It's a party you won't want to miss.
Goal! St. Louis FC! Hit a goal!
Get your tickets at stlouisfc.com.
Hops with the opposite foot, and then when I say make it bigger, it just means get a bigger V.
I think it's really important that, one, they get feedback on what they're doing correctly and what they could do better. Letting them get the repetitions over and over and over again and making sure they're doing it right.
Powerful locked ankle touch with the inside part of your foot.
This is my opportunity to help them get better and teach them. And that's, what I spend most of my time during training, focused on, is improving that overall technique.
Welcome back to Halftime, brought to you by Electrical Connection. Tonight's halftime highlights are brought to you in part by Maryville University. Score the winning goal at Maryville with personalized education, nationally ranked academics, and Division II athletics. Learn more at maryville.edu. And as we take a look at the highlights from the first 45, one thing is clear: Louisville City, really a tremendous performance in that first half of play.
And this is a tremendous goal from Rasmussen as well on the edge of the box. And you're right, they were so positive early on, but he tucks that one into the corner, gives Thomas Gomez absolutely no chance at all. And there were a few moments from St. Louis, not too many. This one, I thought, come on, you've got to hit the target there, Bradley Camden-Feo, and he doesn't. And that's it.
And we are ready to rock for the second half of play. St. Louis FC trying to get back into this one. Louisville City FC had things cooking coming into this match. 2-0-3 in their last 5, but of course St. Louis FC 5-1-1 as a whistle sounds. And away we go, the second half of play at West Community Stadium. My name is Neil Rule. My broadcast partner, former Manchester United legend goalkeeper Gary Bailey. Happy to have you with us wherever you may be watching around the world. Gary, what does St. Louis FC have to do because you get it's a 1-0 match, but you get the feeling that it's more than that.
They certainly were outplayed in the first half, but the last 5 minutes you got the sense they were getting back in the game. They obviously don't want to concede a second against this very good Lou City team.
As Watts sends a cross in, that's played out.
If they can do that, if they can keep it tight at the back, and they need to start attacking a little bit more, and maybe towards the end of the match they're going to have to take some big risks. But in the meantime, at 1-0, I don't think Anthony Pulis will be overly concerned. Obviously doesn't want to be in this position, but he just feels right now, don't go 2-0 down, because then you have got a mountain to climb.
Oscar Jimenez with the possession. 18 matches played for the Tulsa Roughnecks back in 2015. Leads this Louisville side in assists with 7. One of the best facilitators out there on the pitch right now. Touch towards the top of the D. Swung wide to the left side. Ownby, his cross, got all the way through. It's loose out in front, right on top of the 6 line before it's cleared out.
Wow, that was a chance there for Lou City. That ball was bobbling all over the place in the box there. Some shoddy defending from St. Louis, but they dealt with it eventually. And once again, it's Lou City who are doing the attacking right from the off in the second half. And again, very impressed with their attitude away from home. They've just come straight at St. Louis from the beginning of this match, and they haven't stopped.
Ball touched ahead by Boehner. Whistle sounds away from the play. Pointing to a spot. Oscar Umar a bit shaken up.
Anthony Pulis looking on. He certainly is a worried man. It's a battle to make sure his team finishes in the playoff positions, and a loss here tonight's going to make that even more precarious, which is why he needs to get something from this match.
Camden Feo with it along that left side. Out to the middle. Swung wide out right. Here's Tyler Blackwood. The Boehner ball played ahead. Ownby has it. Jimenez does well to let that go over the line. Louisville City FC, though, look at the confidence, Gary. Playing along their back line with no fear. Chipped up towards the top of the D. Now it's touched out to the right side. Blackwood sends it back. Lewis Hilton trying to make his way through. And it's cleared out of harm's way.
At least that's better from St. Louis, getting into the box, causing a few problems. Lewis Hilton looking for a potential penalty, perhaps, if there was any touch on his feet. And that's much, much better from the home side.
Camden Feo. He will play it ahead. Now St. Louis FC will try the left side. Lewis Hilton again. Hilton, 3 goals, 6 assists. Led the team with over 3,000 minutes played last year. Hilton, one of those watch players. You wind him up, put it on your wrist, and forget about it.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player in midfield. Covers a lot of ground, always aggressive, always pushing his team forward, always looking for opportunities. And as you mentioned earlier in the game, very good on set pieces. And just beginning to sense here, maybe St. Louis are going to just push forward a little bit more now. They have the need, they have the desire. The big question is whether Lou City can match that desire, and that's what, if you're Anthony Pulis, you'd be saying, come on, put them to the test. See if they want this as badly as you do. Get stuck in, work them, make it physical. And let's see if Lou City, who have already got their playoff place guaranteed, whether they're still prepared to fight hard for this result.
Lewis Hilton hit with the foul. A quick restart for Lou City. And some contact right at the top of the 18. And a booking assessed. And this will be a dangerous free kick. One step outside the 18 line. In the middle, too.
I'm not quite sure what contact there was. I'd like to see it again. Here we go. Let's have a look. Oh, it's the arm over the shoulder.
Yep.
That's what it is.
The off arm.
Oh, it looks harsh, but at the end of the day, these days, when you put your arm over someone's shoulder, it's often given as a yellow card. I would like to see it given only when you pull the person. I think there's no reason why you can't have your hand on someone's shoulder, but if you pull them, that's different. Didn't see much of a pull there, but it's been given, and what a dangerous position as well. If you're Thomas Gomez now, you've got the wall to watch one half of your goal, you're going to watch the other half. But if it's hit well from 20 yards out, it's very difficult for the keeper to stop.
Niall McCabe standing over. Oscar Jimenez as well. McCabe pacing it off. Dangerous opportunity. Rasmussen up there as well. The triumvirate of players. Who will take it? Running in, strike with the right foot over top of the frame by Niall McCabe.
He's missed the target completely, hasn't he? Hasn't worked the goalkeeper at all, which is a missed opportunity. We were saying earlier, rather make the keeper do something, get it in the ground in front of Thomas Gomez. Maybe he can't hold on to it. In the end, opportunity lost.
On the other side, here comes Tyler Blackwood. Blackwood gives one a lash. That will win a corner for St. Louis FC. And that's a very welcome corner for the home side. Corner kick brought to you by Electro Savings.
You do get the sense that St. Louis are going to just build up a head of steam here in the second half. You know, they are the home side. They need the points desperately. They're going to fight harder and harder as this match goes on. And you just wonder, the fact that Lou City haven't taken a second of their good chances, whether 1-0 is going to be enough for the visitors.
Lewis Hilton up with Kadeem Dakers. Dakers, the former Chicago Fire draft pick in 2014. Lewis Hilton surveys the scene. Hilton's service driven in. That was headed away. Rowan coming up for Lou City. Maybe some liberties taken with the real estate in terms of the throw. Much to the chagrin
Anthony
of
Pulis. He's showing the fourth official exactly where the throw-in should have been taken. But he's passionate, Anthony Pulis. That's what you want from your manager. You want someone who really cares deeply about, well, to be fair, all managers care deeply. You want someone who shows that passion. They show it in different ways. And his is by getting really involved in the match.
Homeby cut off. You mentioned Anthony Pulis and that passion, also successful. Took St. Louis FC to their first ever playoff berth last year. He also took Orlando City B to the playoffs in that team's first year in the USL. Spent some time with Stoke City and Southampton as a player. He's seen the game at all levels. And he's had success everywhere he's been. Something to be said for that.
Well, so far he is in a playoff position, but if things stay like this to the end of the regular season, which is only three games after this, then he'll be in the playoffs, and that's,
contact inside the 18. Here comes St. Louis FC on the other side. Tyler Blackwood into space, his cross sent in. Defended away by Craig.
It's that Blackwood-Gregg combination again. Tyler Blackwood from outside on the right. Gets the ball in. Kyle Gregg reads him reasonably well, but just can't get his shot on target. Headers again. I'd like to see Tyler Blackwood more central for me because he's a good finisher himself, but gets the ball in. Kyle Gregg gets to the front there, but just can't make anything of that opportunity.
Ownby the target with that long ball. Finds its mark. Ownby to McCabe. Ownby gets it back. Jimenez. Side-to-side possession. Speedy Williams will give one a rip. Misses that left post.
How good was Ownby there, bringing that ball down out of the air, controlling it, bringing the other players in. Such a good player, Ownby. Matsoso just behind him looking for opportunities. But Ownby's got a wealth of experience in the MLS with Houston, 31 games. You could see from his skills there what a good player he is.
Going to be a successful player in college also. Played at Virginia, had the game-winning golden goal in the Final Four in 2009 against Wake Forest.
512. We thank you for your support of St. Louis FC and professional soccer in St. Louis.
Lou City try the right side again. We saw that a lot in the first half. That ball touched away. Nathaniel Kavita. Tyler Blackwood working amongst two Louisville players. Speedy Williams comes away with it. Touch wide to the right side. Just a passing clinic from Louisville City FC. Ownby, top of the D. Ownby rips it wide of the frame. And the final playoff spots are at stake October 9th when Wednesday Night Soccer returns to ESPN News. Tune in as Birmingham Legion FC fights for the last spot in the East, while upset-minded Hartford Athletic looks to crush the hopes in front of the home faithful. Catch all the drama unfolding Wednesday, October 9th, only on ESPN News. Substitution coming up for St. Louis FC. The substitution brought to you by Cigna. Masta Cashier will come in. And Gary, you and I talked about it. What would Anthony Pulis do? That's a very aggressive answer as Russell Cicerone comes off in the 58th minute.
Yeah, Cicerone's one of my favorite players. He struggled to get into the match. He normally creates all sorts of problems in the flank positions down the left-hand side of this evening. He just hasn't made it happen. So shuffling the pack a little bit, Anthony Pulis and saying to Master Cachet, let's see what you can do. See if you can get us back into this match.
There's Blackwood on the right side. Pass ahead. Blackwood peels back. Drops it off. Boehner. That ball played away. St. Louis FC, though, Gary, now finding some space to work with at least. Umar sends it in towards the 18. That's headed away. But Anthony Pulis has to like the life he's seeing from his side right now.
Yep. As I thought, they're going to come more and more into the St. Louis. They're going to fight all the way tooth and nail because it means so much to them. Let's see what the referee's issue is. Oh, it's a player down on the Louisville City side. I hope it's nothing serious there. It's Masoso on his right leg. But yeah, I mean, they're the home side St. Louis. They've got the fans behind them. They're losing. They need the points. They are going to come at Lou City. Of that, there's no question. My only question is, are Lou City really, really desperate enough for these points to fight every single tackle with St. Louis? And that answer we'll only find out in the next half an hour or so.
Of course, Lou City will play at Nashville on Tuesday. St. Louis FC back in action again on Tuesday as well, when they'll be at Loudoun United.
We mentioned Loudoun just beat Tampa Bay Rowdies 2-0, so
that's
might
no
not
picnic
be,
there.
Yeah, exactly. And then they have Pittsburgh, who are top of the table, St. Louis do, and they end with North Carolina away. So there's no guarantee you get a whole bunch of points there, which is why points tonight is so valuable for St. Louis, and why I think they're going to start scrapping harder and harder as the match nears its conclusion.
Well, you brought that up, Pittsburgh again. It's almost like they've been glossed over through all the discussions. They've lost only 4 times in 32 matches. They have been the class of the conference. A bit of a misplay by Kavita. Lou City will look to take advantage. Cross sent towards the top of the 18. Good 1-2 build-up. McCabe was the target. He will peel back with it. 2/3 of the way through this match. Neil Rule, Gary Bailey with you. Happy to have you along. That cross played out. Throw-in coming up.
No rush here. Lou City
No.
1 up.
And that's the chair they have in the game, though, right now, and they've created that.
Absolutely. They can take their time. They can just keep possession. They can play it around. It's up to St. Louis to come at them and up to the home side to try and make things happen, which is not easy against the champions.
Here comes Lou City. Cross sent over. Going back to collect it, Tomas Gomez. Gomez with 2 USL Gold Glove awards on his resume. Both of those with the Rochester Rhinos. Sam Fink. St. Louis FC will play it backwards to the keeper Gomez. You wonder when Anthony Pulis and St. Louis FC will throw that switch. Of course, still somewhat early in the match. You see managers sometimes don't get as anxious until that number starts with a 7 up there on the clock.
Yep, that's pretty much about it. He's made the 1 change already. He's got the likes of Caleb Calvert on the bench. He can throw in. He's also a big man that can play up front. And here's that tackle there. I actually thought it came off a Lou City player, but the corner been given to the visitors nonetheless.
Corner upcoming. The jockeying for position begins inside the 18. Another Electro Savings corner kick. And it up in the air. Can St. Louis FC mount a counter? Here's a good start to it. Tyler Blackwood hesitates. Second defender rolls in. St. Louis bench calling for a switch, and there they finally get it. There's some space on the left side. Camden Feo touched it wide. That ball's loose, right on the line. Camden Feo makes his move. He crosses it, jumping up and making the grab was Chris Hubbard. That ball sitting right on the 6 line for anyone to play.
Yeah, Paco Craig with a great clearance under pressure. The ball there bouncing. Craig just gets a boot, gets it away from trouble. When it comes back in, Chris Hubbard's able to come pluck it out of the air. You can start to see St. Louis just ramping up the pressure a little bit. Still worried about Lou City on the counter-attack, but they're going to get more and more balls into that box and test Chris Hubbard over the next 25 minutes or so. Of that I'm pretty sure of. The entire season could be hanging in the balance here, St. Louis.
Here comes Lou City one more time. Speedy Williams up. Instead it goes to Ownby. It's been a good prescription so far. Jimenez in space. Drops it off to McCabe. McCabe's cross. Will be played out. St. Louis FC now looking to counter one more time. Wide to the left. Now it's given back. Cashier inside the 18. He goes down looking for the call. The whistle never comes.
Yeah, you're not going to get a penalty for that. There's going to be a trip, or you can't just run into the back of someone and claim a penalty. But they're going to try and do everything they can, St. Louis. I don't think Lou City can expect anything less than that from them tonight. That's how important this game is to the home side. Not that I'm advocating diving, but it's just they're going to try every trick in the book to get the result they want.
Blackwood up ahead on the right side one more time. Advance tonight's match is brought to you in part by Maryville University. Score the winning goal at Maryville with personalized education, nationally ranked academics, and Division II athletics. Learn more at maryville.edu. Kadeem Dakers makes his move. Dakers 4 goals this year. Would love to tack on a 5th. As the screws continue to tighten here in West Community Stadium. Tomas Gomez. Sam Fink played it towards the right side. Fink had over 2,800 minutes played last year. More contact. Boy, Anthony Pulis is beside himself right now on the sideline.
Every time there's an appeal based on something that happens, the referee sort of comes under pressure. And you can hear Anthony Pulis say 2 now. They've had 2 appeals. Don't think either of them are penalties, but they're certainly worth the appeal. And as a referee, you're only human. At some point, if Lou City make a rash challenge in that box, the referee could be tempted to say, you know what, I've had enough penalties. So that's the pressure that's beginning to build.
Here comes a move. Camden Feo, left side. Gregg with a touch. Just wide of the frame.
Good idea from Gregg. Tried to flick it with the right side of his right boot, the top of his right boot, but couldn't quite get the right angle. And now fresh blood for Lou City.
Del Piccolo will come into the match.
Louisville City, leading the game, number 29, Antoine Hopino.
Hopino will come out.
Number 36,
Paulo Del Piccolo will come in. First substitution of the night for John Hackworth.
Yeah, we haven't seen as much of Hopino in the second half as we saw first half. First half, he was very bright down that right-hand side. He's gone a little bit quiet, and probably that's why John Hackworth has decided to bring him off.
Del Piccolo will put on that captain's armband. Put your referee hat on, Gary.
Not enough. You know, defenders are going to be in the way. This one, there was a little bit of a shove. That I thought was a free kick, maybe on the edge of the box.
Right.
I saw definite contact there. The first one, nah. When you run into someone, that's not enough for a penalty.
Paulo Del Piccolo was drafted by the Montreal Impact back in 2013. Instead, he signed with Eintracht Frankfurt. 4 seasons with Louisville City FC, almost 100 matches played. There's a goal this year. Switch by Louisville. Oscar Jimenez with it. Pulis, I believe, calling for some more pressure.
Yeah, but it's because Lou City are comfortable on the ball. They don't have to score again. They can play it around the back. It's up to the men in green to go and get the ball. And there's some tired legs out there from St. Louis, but they've got to keep going. Another 20 minutes or so, and it could define their season.
Rasmussen makes his move. 3 defenders run out at him, and finally St. Louis FC obtains the possession, but then they give it right back.
Which has happened too often for Anthony Pulis' liking tonight. St. Louis very poor at retention, especially up front. That puts them under constant pressure, and you get tired from chasing and defending. Again, another pass that goes astray.
Here's McCabe with it. Craig. Del Piccolo touched it. Jimenez with it. Breakdown in communication possibly, as that ball was sent over the line by Speedy Williams. Two balls out towards the pitch, and what do we have? Guido Gonzalez Jr. A resolute look on his face.
Yeah, Matt Boehner was sneaking a few yards. He sent him back.
Making the run on the right side is Tyler Blackwood, but this time the pass will not find him. And Gary, if there has been one sliver of hope for St. Louis FC, Tyler Blackwood has found some space along that right touch line at times.
Yep, he has, no question about that. And Carl Greggs looked a little bit sharper in the last 20 minutes around the box. Now you've got Master Cacher also probing around there and as an attacking midfielder, trying to see what can happen. So there's hope for St. Louis fans, but they're going to have to put in a really good shift for the next 20 minutes and run themselves ragged if they're going to stop Lou City and get at least a point from this match.
Del Piccolo Sends it to McCabe. McCabe's cross. It's loose inside the 6. Popped up in the air, coming off the line to make the grab is Gomez. But some more trying times.
Yeah, that could have gone anywhere. Those sort of balls in the box. Had a couple of those where the ball's bouncing around and it just hasn't fallen to a Lou City player. Fortunately for St. Louis, but not so good for Lou City, because all the time it's at 1-0, you know that one goal and suddenly there's 2 points dropped, and then there'll be more pressure from St. Louis.
Greg trying to work his way through the defender. Comes up empty this time. Chris Hubbard, who hasn't really been challenged that much here this evening, wings it out towards midfield.
I think it's a good comment you make. He hasn't been challenged nearly enough as an away goalkeeper. And I think that just tells you that Lou City have been by far the better side, created more chances, got the one goal, but could have had a second and a third. And I haven't seen too much from St. Louis as yet. But as mentioned before, they're a very defensive unit, St. Louis. They sit back, they absorb, and now I'm expecting them to slowly start really pushing for this equalizer as the match starts to near its conclusion.
Gabe again. He's played in the most matches in Louisville City FC history. And you notice that repetitive theme as we talk about these players for Louisville City. Hundreds of matches played. The core of the team has been in place. They're seasoned pros.
Yeah, good unit. They understand each other. They know how to deal with the ups and downs of the game, not to panic when they're down, not to get too confident when they're up. It's all part of having a good team unit, and that's why they've been champions for the last 2 seasons. Big question is, can they do it and make it 3 in a row?
We're in the 73rd minute. Neil Rule, Gary Bailey with you. Happy to have you along for the ride. USL Championship Soccer as we come down the stretch. This is a big week for everyone involved. These two sides will play 3 matches in the span of 7 days. Now Lou City with the build-up again. That ball loose inside the 18. Manuel Cavita will take it away. But Louisville will get it right back. Comes free. Here's McCabe. McCabe across. Drop-off shot. Fired wide of the frame.
Good setup there from Brian Ownby. And I think it's Jimenez who takes a shot and then gets hit and lands very heavily. But again, a good little spell for Lou City as they dominated possession, just probing that St. Louis box.
Substitution coming up for St. Louis FC. Substitutions brought to you by Cigna. And a name you brought up earlier, Gary. Caleb Calvert coming into the match. Kyle Gregg comes out.
Yeah, fresh legs. It's about the right time of the game to do it. He's a big, strong unit up front, Calvert. He will challenge balls. He will take on the big defenders. And you need some fresh legs and fresh energy at this stage of the match.
Calvert signed a homegrown contract with Kivas when he was just 16 years old. Spent the last 3 seasons for the Charlotte Independents. Does have 2 goals this year, so he is a capable scorer. Ownby touches it out towards the D. Rasmussen has the goal here tonight, but he will not pick up a second this time. Tyler Blackwood on the move. Blackwood thought that Dakers was going to continue his run, and Dakers had pulled up at that point.
He's becoming more central now, Tyler Blackwood. I think that's where he's going to be of greater danger. Maybe him and Caleb Calvert forming a double set of strikers.
We're almost 75 minutes in. Critical week of the USL Championship season.
And a critical game for St. Louis here, for Lou City. Oh, just giving it away.
There's Tyler Blackwood. Swings it out towards the left side. Cashier along the line. Works 1v1. Cashier sends the cross in. It's headed. Tremendous stop is made. Chris Hubbard goes fully vertical and punches it away.
Fantastic save from the goalkeeper, absolutely brilliant. Massa Cashier with a brilliant cross, and Tyler Blackwood gets it perfect. He can't believe that hasn't gone in the back of the net. And the only reason why is Chris Hubbard has come up with an incredible save down to his right, strong arm, and keeps his team in a 1-0 lead.
You may see that Chris Hubbard save in other media outlets here this evening. That was incredible. Substitution coming on for Louisville City. George Davis IV will check in. Soso's evening is done. Corner, sent across. Ownby heads it away. That ball worked its way into the 18 once again. Umar had it. That shot fired over top of the frame. But some signs of life here from St. Louis FC. Probably their best stretch of the evening so far.
Yep, they're pushing now. They've got to start taking risks. Again, with those shots, got to try and at least hit target and make the goalkeeper work. Every time they just go straight over the crossbar, the goalkeeper doesn't have to worry, doesn't have to do anything.
Fans USL unveiled its elite youth platform, the USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop their local youth and compete at the highest levels across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. And Gary, look, you played this game at its highest levels for Manchester United English national team. The USL certainly doing their part to grow the game of soccer here in America.
Oh, absolutely. I think they're doing a fantastic job. So many great kids coming through. Maybe not in teams like this. These are the more mature teams that are built to win championships, but in some of the other sides, Atlanta too, and some of the smaller teams that, or the sort of younger teams rather, I should say, Loudon, Bethlehem Steel, they come up with some wonderful, wonderful talent. And young kids, 16,
right.
17. And that's the age you have to get them into this level of football. That's what they do in Europe. And you've got to try and match it here in the US. And the USL is certainly doing that.
This is a man that knows, folks. No question about that. As we take a look at the contact. Taking that a step further, too, you look at what USL League One has done in their first year. Ricardo Pepi has spent time on the MLS side. It's coming, folks. There's no doubt about it. USL's at the forefront of it.
It certainly is. There's been some nice crowds. The standard of football is very, very good. Some people say, well, it's second-tier US. This is good football. There's some talented players out there, some good recruits from abroad. And I wish more people would watch it because it's quality soccer.
Throw-in coming up for Akil Watts. And that's a name we said constantly in the first half. Second half, not as much. Speaking of quality names, Akil Watts, the youngster. That's another one to keep your eye on. Foul goes against Lou City.
He's 19 years of age. That's still a young player. But in Europe, really young players are 15, 16, 17 making EPL debuts. Same in La Liga. So nothing wrong with putting real young players in and really testing them. And we're seeing a lot of that happening at the USL clubs. And I think they should be given credit for it because it takes a brave manager to put in a young player. That's the only way that the game grows and becomes even better here in the States.
And Boehner will throw it in.
Well, we're coming up to 10 minutes left in this game, and St. Louis are going to have to start taking risks. They'll start knocking long balls and getting physical and putting more and more pressure on because that clock is ticking.
It certainly is, and one of those long ball finds its mark. Caleb Calvert sends it over top of the frame, off the deflection.
So you got a set piece. You get big Sam Fink up there, Faniel Kavita, Bradley Camden Faggot, all your big boys in and just get Lewis Hilton to just drop that ball on the penalty spot or maybe between the penalty spot and the 6-yard spot and then just battle it out. If that's how you get back in this game, I don't think any St. Louis fan is going to complain. No more nice soccer, just need a goal.
81st minute. Another Electro Savings Credit Union corner kick. Lewis Hilton sends it into the 18. Not a lot of pressure by St. Louis FC on that corner. Boehner plays it up. Overlapping run by Cashier. Played into the 18 one more time. Now it's cleared away. Now Louisville trying the counter. Good ball sent in. Ownby can't get on the end of it. Boy, Ownby with a little bit better service there. Could have been off to the races.
He could have been. But he does keep the ball in Lou City's possession, which is what they need to do at this stage of the match. A body down for St. Louis in the box. Looks like it's cramp, and there's a lot of tired green shirts out there taking a breather. It's been a tough season when you chuck in all the cup matches as well.
Some cramping, as you talked about. Gary, we talked about your playing days a little bit earlier. What's the mindset when you have 3 matches in 7 days? And you certainly had your spells through that too in the EPL. How do you survive? I mean, that's a question I guess I ask. Bottom line, how do you survive?
Well, as a goalkeeper, it's more mental than physical. But for the outfield players, it's both. And you just got to keep going. You've got to be motivated. Anthony Pulis has got to come up with every little sort of trick in the book that he can think of psychologically, just to keep his players going, keep his players believing right up until the end of the season. And right now, they've got a crucial 8 or so minutes, absolutely crucial that they get something out of this game. And if they have to leave it all out there on the pitch, then that's what they've got to do. Got to keep these fans happy. Come on, how can you not? Great St. Louis fans.
St. Louis fans here tonight looking for something to cheer for. They have 7.5 minutes and change to provide it. Lots of cramping out there on the pitch right now. And fans, you can continue to enjoy USL League One on ESPN through the 2022 season. The USL and League One excited to announce that the championship and League One play will remain with the leader in sports for 3 more years. ESPN Plus will continue to be the home of all things USL, and at least 19 games per year will be featured on the ESPN family of networks, including 9 matches on ESPN Deportes. Continue to follow, support, and watch your club on ESPN and ESPN Plus. As I always talk about, factually speaking, the best value in streaming television, ESPN Plus. Big fan, Gary. I'll throw it on out on the deck at night. Everything you need.
Absolutely. So much great soccer to watch as well. Just saying there that it's a tired Oscar Umar who's had cramp there and has eventually come off. And Gaia Bend, haven't seen much of him in the last month or so with injuries. And I'm sure his teammates will be delighted to see him back in the team.
Second sub of the night for Anthony Pulis. Or I'm sorry, the third and final sub. Cross sent in, played away by Jimenez. New City able to deal with that threat. That's right, Greg, Cicerone, and Umar all sub for, so Pulis has done everything he can do from a manager standpoint in terms of personnel. And stepping through nearly was Ownby. He has been a thorn in the side for St. Louis FC up top.
He's such a good player. He's got a wonderful touch and he's got quick feet and a quick little sprint to him as well. Constant problem, as you say, and you know, if I had a team in the USL, I think I'd love to have him playing for me.
Brian Ownby, 1 goal for the Team USA in the U20 World Cup. 7 matches played for the Houston Dynamo, the MLS. Decorated resume. Did his college soccer at the ACC powerhouse, Virginia. As we move into the 86th minute.
Good press there from St. Louis, forcing that long ball. Lots of green shirts in that Louisville half, as you can see now. They've got to keep taking risks. Yes, they risk a counter-attack, but They're 1-0 down. 5 minutes left. They've got to push forward.
I guess you're right in that respect. Once the final gun sounds, there's no difference between 1-0 and 2-0.
Exactly.
Here they come. Once again, Tyler Blackwood. Dakers. Blackwood. Blackwood curls it in towards the frame, but nobody makes a run for St. Louis FC.
There's some tired bodies there, and it needs those fresh legs. It needs Caleb Calvert and Master Kacher and Gaia Ben. Those are the ones that need to be making the runs. They've come on fresh. They've got the energy. The rest of the team are tiring, and they're the ones who've got to lead this onslaught at the end.
Ownby along that touchline, and he will work a foul call. And that's valuable at this point of the match, because Gary, that'll take 20 seconds plus off the clock. The final substitution coming up for Louisville City. Taylor Pay will come in and replace Akil Watts. Akil Watts played some good minutes, especially in the first half, for John Hackworth.
He certainly did. He looks a wonderful talent, this 19-year-old. And you're right, first half he was bombing down that right-hand side. Second half, hasn't had as many opportunities to attack. But with the experience of Taylor Pay, I guess John Hackworth just wants to tighten up the last few minutes, make sure there's no mistakes, don't give anything away, and leave with a 1-0 victory, which I'm sure he'd be absolutely delighted with.
Pay the last 2 seasons in the Real Salt Lake organization. The MLS side and with the Monarchs. Ownby working in that left corner. Jimenez gets it back. Plays it to the middle. And just one touch passing for Louisville City FC.
Yeah, you have to give them credit. They made it so difficult for St. Louis. It isn't like St. Louis haven't tried. They just can't get the ball. They haven't been able to pressurize them much. Lou City have made more of the chances, looked the better side.
Stepping through, sending it to Ownby. Ownby's shot is blocked.
Another chance for Lou City.
But it comes free again, McCabe. He sets it up on the left side. That ball played over top of the frame. Jimenez jumped up into the play. Louisville City looking like they're trying to go in for the kill, Gary.
Exactly, I was about to say exactly the same thing. Credit to them, because at 1-0 they could easily sit back and just try and counter-attack. Instead, they push forward. They're making it so difficult for St. Louis to get at them. And at the end of the day, I don't think you can criticize the home side too much. I think you have to give a lot of credit to Lou City. They have been absolutely fantastic here tonight.
We mentioned earlier, John Hackworth telling us, despite where we are in the standings, we feel like we're a good team. Again, it's a point that we brought up earlier. They just give you every reason to feel that the 2-time defending champion, their store is open for business. They are looking ready to go.
Oh, they are. It's a perfect time of the season to really hit form. Their problem, I guess, if they only finish 6th or thereabouts, there'll be a couple of away matches.
Right.
Which will be difficult, but given how well they're playing here away from home, I don't think there's any team they can't go and beat.
This is a side last year, of course, that beat Phoenix Rising in the championship.
That might not be so easy to do this time around, given how well Phoenix have played this year.
I'll tell you
phenomenal.
What, though, I will make sure, if that's the matchup again, I will make sure that I have that time blocked off. And I'll be watching that.
Wow, it'll be some game.
Another push here for St. Louis FC. Dakers sends it across, but once again coming off the line to make the grab is Chris Hubbard. As we move towards stoppage time. Hubbard will take his time. There will be 5 minutes added on. Stoppage time presented by Paycor. Need more time in your business? Contact Paycor to handle your payroll and human resources needs.
It's a vital 5 minutes for St. Louis. Let's just see how they can use it. I thought they would have put more pressure on by now. I thought it would have been balls bombing into the box, and haven't seen enough from them. Maybe now in this last 5 minutes they can knock balls up, and something for the big guys up front to fight for Caleb Calvert.
Lou City has gotten stronger as the match has gone on as well. From the 85-minute mark on, they controlled the possession through one-touch passing. As you talked about, St. Louis FC just unable to get the ball back. Now they have it back. Cashier, he loses it. Tosh will play it back to the keeper. Hubbard bombs it out towards midfield.
I just wonder if St. Louis are running out of energy at the end of the season, because I just don't see enough coming from them here. Don't see enough aggression. I don't see enough desire. I don't see enough players urging each other to fight right to the end and get balls into the box. I mean, their playoff lives are hanging in the balance here.
Here's Omby in the corner. And I know Magnus Rasmussen has the goal, but Brian Omby has been a force here this evening.
Yep, certainly has. Some wonderful touches, brilliant play. He's given the defense of St. Louis a really torrid time here this evening. And again, rather than criticize St. Louis, I think one has to give Lou City credit. They just have, they have been so good from beginning to end. They came out straight for St. Louis. You thought first 20 minutes it was all Lou City. You thought, okay, St. Louis are going to get back into it. They had 5 minutes before half time. And that was about the only time in the first half we saw anything of the home side. And then in the second half, a little bit here and there, but not a lot. And as we wait to hear that final score from Charleston Battery and Birmingham Legion to see how many points they've got, if St. Louis go on to lose this, the other two will, in some form or other, make up ground.
Here's Lewis Hilton, last gasp time here for St. Louis FC. Still through all this, down just a goal. Everything can change in a moment's notice. Hilton service in, headed up, right on the doorstep. Set in on frame. And the stop is made by Chris Hubbard.
Gaia Ben with the header there. Just couldn't get enough power behind it to cause Chris Hubbard too many problems. But that's what I wanted to see from St. Louis earlier. Get the ball in the box, get in there, fight for things, get on the end of things, see what happens. Little deflection, it could be anything. You just haven't seen enough of this. Tyler Blackwood doing really well to hook that back in. Gaia Ben twisting his body. Just can't get enough whip on that ball. And Chris Hubbard deals with it quite comfortably.
Tyler Blackwood has played well here tonight. I know it's been a struggle offensively for St. Louis FC at times, but Tyler Blackwood has played well. Dean Dakers wins the throw. Matt Boehner over. 94th minute, 5 minutes of stoppage time. Reversal for St. Louis.
I'm not sure why they're not crossing the ball in the box. There's only a minute left.
Camden Feo will do just that. Hubbard will grab it before it crossed the goal line, thus avoiding the corner kick.
There were two chances there to knock the ball in properly. Eventually they take too long, they get a deflection or whatever, or it's a poor ball in the box, and nothing comes of it.
Boehner again. Final moment of the match. St. Louis FC has to move forward, and they do. Blackwood open on that far right side. Dakers will switch it around. But just nowhere to go.
You got to cross the ball in the box. That's where to go.
Sam Fink rips it towards the left side. Camden Feo trying to muscle through, and he will win a corner. Time of the essence. Lewis Hilton sprints over. This could be it. Last stand time for St. Louis FC.
That's all the big boys are in the box. Lewis Hilton, I assume, will put it somewhere. Again, between the penalty spot and 6-yard box. Let them fight for it. Or is he going to go short? He's going short.
Hilton does go short with it. Now it's served in. Hubbard punches it away. The whistle sounds, and Louisville City FC come into St. Louis and get a 1-0 road win.
And they deserve it, Lou City. They've been fantastic tonight. From the very beginning, they have gone at St. Louis. They've played wonderful football. They've created a ton of chances. For St. Louis, it just really hasn't happened for them. And to be honest, I don't think they've made enough happen for them. But I think possibly, you've got to give Lou City credit. They've made it very difficult for the home side. And now St. Louis will take their battle into the next game. And it gets more and more desperate as they hang on to that playoff place.
Lou City FC adding 3 points to their season total. They've climbed up to the 6th position.
Hey fans, be sure to stick around for a special post-game fireworks show presented by Electrical
Tonight's man of the match is presented by Pleats Cleaners. Tomas Gomez, today's man of the match, as selected by our broadcast crew. Remember, you can follow St. Louis FC on Twitter to vote in the Pleats man of the match fan poll. And really, Gary, your area of expertise, Tomas Gomez, kept St. Louis FC in this match multiple times here this evening.
Yeah, had a decent game, made some good saves, and that's what he had to do, was just try and keep that score down to 1-0. Once they went behind, this is a save. A little bit slow to come off his line, but when he does, makes a really, really good save. And at 1-0, St. Louis were always in with a chance thanks to their goalkeeper. But they just couldn't take that chance. They couldn't find an opportunity. They couldn't break Lou City down, no matter how hard Tomas Gomez tried. He's only the goalkeeper. He can't score them as well.
Spoken like a true goalkeeper, no question about it. Lou City FC gets the win, 1-0. We'll take our final break, come back, and wrap everything up. Lou City, the victory on the road. We'll be right back with more.
Twitter feed and vote. Voting will be open through Sunday.
The excitement that is sweeping the nation has arrived in St. Louis.
And a goal! It's Cicerone!
Fans are loving the authentic soccer experience. Tailgating, cheering, chanting, and much more. It's a party you won't want to miss.
Goal! St. Louis FC! And a goal!
Get your tickets at stlouisfc.com.
Tonight's final score presented to you by Edward Jones, 1-0. Lou City FC with the victory over St. Louis FC. A crushing blow to St. Louis FC's hopes. There's no doubt about that as we take a look at the highlights from tonight's match. And Gary, some late pressure applied by St. Louis FC, but in the end, after that strike by Magnus Rasmussen, St. Louis FC just unable to ask enough questions here tonight.
That was a great strike, wasn't it, early on in the match? Absolutely brilliant. Tucks it in past Tomas Gomez. Camden Faye has a chance here, but doesn't even hit target, and that was all in the first half, really. Second half, again, it was still mostly the visitors. Header comes back off the crossbar. Fantastic header there. And then Ownby gets through. Gomez makes a good save. Again, Ownby on the edge of the box. It's all Lou City, just bends it wide. Not enough. There are a couple of moments. Oh, this was a fantastic one. Tyler Blackwood in the second half. Absolutely brilliant header. And that was a magnificent save from Chris Hubbard. And then towards the end, pressure. This is Tyler Blackwood's going to hook this back over his shoulder. Gaia Ben's going to try a header here. This time Chris Hubbard behind it. So, yeah, one great save from Chris Hubbard. Other than that, not too much coming from St. Louis.
St. Louis FC with that flurry at the end closed the numbers gap up just a little bit. 12 shots for Lou City, 8 for St. Louis FC, but a majority of those came in stoppage time as they finally were able to ask some questions. But Lou City had all the answers here tonight. They get the win. They improved to 15-7-9 on the season through 31 matches played. And the repetitive theme that you and I talked about, Gary, Lou City rounding into form, the two-time champion. Look out over your shoulder because here they come.
Absolutely fantastic tonight. And yeah, maybe not enough shots on target, but lots of shots, lots of possession. They were comfortable. Ownby was fantastic up front. Chris Hubbard's made one brilliant save. But for St. Louis, they're still in the playoff positions, and they've got to keep going, try and get something from the next few matches. Loudon away, they've got to get something from that. So they've got to dust themselves off. There'll be some tired bodies in that St. Louis locker room, but they've got to just see that the end of the season's close and just do enough to get themselves over the line.
As you talked about, they play at Loudoun United FC on Tuesday. Louisville will head to Nashville on Tuesday as well. So, from a broadcast partner, Gary Bailey, my name is Neil Rule, reminding you one final time, Louisville City FC with the road win here tonight, 1-0 over St. Louis FC. Appreciate everybody watching here tonight on ESPN. We'll talk to you soon. Well, see you later.
Telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.